Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're back in AFK Journey, and in today's video we're going to be making the final Dream Realm boss guide, which is for the Lone Gaze. We've come full circle, we've covered all the Dream Realm bosses, and we're ending it off on the boss which also started all of this new season off for me. And it was one of, in my opinion, I think the Lone Gaze is the hardest Dream Realm boss because he deals such high single target damage, and if he kills one of your allies, it's pretty much rest in peace because he gets a haste buff, he gets a defensive buff after that kill, and then he just kind of goes crazy and kills your entire team. So the whole team comp is going to center around protecting and keeping all of your team alive. That is very important, and it is centered around OD as your primary and sole damage dealer. So multiple damage dealer comps are not as effective in the Lone Gaze because, let's say for example, we are running Merrily and OD both, which are usable. Like before you have Rainier at Mythic Plus, you can experiment with this, and maybe we'll do some testing with this in today's video. But this is not going to be as effective because it's another liability. When your damage dealers are both in the backline, the boss is going to begin attacking one of them, usually the one which is more easy to kill. And if he kills one, then it's going to reduce like the time you survive and the time that OD can then get off as much damage. So it's all about protecting the OD. These three heroes that we have fielded right now, Smokey, Coco, and OD, are always, you're going to want to use this even if you're in before the new season is out and the Primal Lord Lone Gaze comes out and you don't have high ascension on these heroes. These heroes are still going to do well even with one copy. They don't have to be Mythic Plus, but at their Mythic Plus and at OD Supreme Plus, they kind of maximize their efficiency for this boss fight. But even before that, Smokey will still be able to heal and provide haste buff, OD will still be able to stack poison and get off massive damage, and Coco will still be able to stagger the damage and allow Smokey to heal up your team in time so that when her ultimate wears off, the pop is not going to be enough to kill your team. So these three are key, and they cannot be replaced. Maybe really like in a few months time when we're over level for Lone Gaze, maybe we don't have to run Coco at that point, but anytime in the near future you have to run Coco, and Smokey is needed for the sustain and for the attack buff, and he's just a great option. But yeah, Ascensions will do better for them. Now for Thorin, for me in the Primal Lord, I kind of only started running Thorin when he was Mythic Plus, because then he has a Soul Pact effect. He can protect one of your backline heroes so that the boss can't nuke them at the beginning of the fight, which is what the boss likes to do. But without the Soul Pact effect, he still can be effective because again, he has a 17% increased damage received debuff onto the boss, which will be kind of like a mini Rainier Mythic Plus. I combined the two as Minier. But so yeah, he's a good debuffer, but I really think before the Soul Pact, maybe he's not the best option here. But I think having that one tank here who is not ever going to die, or even if he dies, he resurrects, so it's not considered a death, is a good option. And then if you have Soul Pact, then we have Rainier at Mythic Plus. If you have Rainier at Mythic Plus, you should be using him. He's going to be a better option for increasing your damage than running a secondary damage dealer for the reasons we mentioned, but we can do some testing with that. If you don't have Rainier at Mythic Plus, there are replacements. You can go for a double damage dealer comp, either with Cecia, Merrily at Mythic Plus. Merrily at Mythic Plus would probably be one of the best options if you're running multiple damage dealers, or Corin at Mythic Plus. He's kind of like a damage dealer plus shielding to keep your team alive longer, so he would be the best option, probably better than Merrily or Cecia, because it's really about the survivability, which is what's going to limit your damage. It's not like getting off raw damage over the whole 90 seconds, because you're probably not going to survive for 90 seconds. Shakir is also a really good option. If you have Shakir at Mythic Plus, he can be good for this boss, and if he is at plus 10 exclusive equipment, he's even better with the attack buff, but he doesn't need the attack buff. Even just his Mythic Plus can be good enough to be a viable hero to run in this boss. And when I was fighting the Lone Gaze Primal Lord, I was running a team very similar to this. I was running actually, yeah, these four Mauler heroes here. So Shakir can be a good option, but Rainier at Mythic Plus is going to be better. So if you have all of these heroes at Mythic Plus, then this team I'm fielding is going to be the best for you, most likely all of the time. So let's go for some testing. The different spells we can do, Star Shard spell gets off damage, but I want to try different versions. Evocation spell I kind of like for having a little bit more protection for your team. It does have shield buffs and haste buffs as well. So I'm going to try this first of all and see how it goes. Last time we took this boss, I think it was a 50%. So today, we're probably not going to be able to kill the boss because that would be a big jump. But we're aiming to get to like 80%. Or at least 60. We should get 80%. Okay, so as you can see here, the wolves are going to be attacking the backline hero, which is the Rainier, but he is perfectly able to tank that with Doran soul pacting him and Coco ultimate as well. So far so good, no issues with the survivability. Coco gets off his blue aura, which at Mythic Plus he gets that, and then he will deal damage per second to the boss, and pretty massive damage, like if you saw the damage burst right there. And Odie's getting off the consistent poison damage. Rainier almost went down right there. Because and even through Coco out, I think he's gonna get popped after the Coco out. No, he survives. So this is the power of Coco at Mythic Plus. With the shielding, it can keep your team alive, and there we go. This is the perfect result. It couldn't have been any better than this. And you're gonna see what I mean, why it's better to run Rainier here rather than double damage dealers, because if we're running the double damage dealers and one of the damage dealers dies, or even if they don't die, we would have a reduced time of surviving, because when one hero goes down, the boss gets a defensive boost, he gets the haste boost, and he just wipes out everyone. Nice, we got rank 6, which is pretty amazing because it's towards the end of, well, not end of the day, but we even beat our guildmate Corvo. This is a very difficult boss, and I think people might not be running what I consider to be the optimal teams. So let's just try for Science with the Star Shard spell, because it's always kind of a toss-up which of the spells is better. And you might need to retry this boss a few times to check for the RNG, because there were times, like maybe if more crits went off, Rainier would just die earlier on. And as soon as one of your heroes dies, it's pretty much over for that run. And you should retry to see if they can survive through that point in time. But Coco is key, Smokey is key, you can't run a team here without them, and Odie is the best damage dealer for sure, because overall, throughout the duration of a fight, Odie will get off more damage than any other hero. Okay, so again, no issues with survivability. You don't have the crit, 11 crit bonus from the evocation spell artifact, but let's see if Rainier can survive. Rainier still survived here, and the haste is still very useful from Star Shard spell because it allows us to keep casting and cycling our ultimates faster to keep getting the Coco ultimate uptime. And yeah, this is looking pretty good. It might even be better than the evocation spell. It's all about, can Rainier just survive the end, because that's what we need in order to maximize our damage. Okay, so the ult of Coco was off, so now the pop happens and still Rainier is alive. Even I thought he was gonna get popped there, and we reactivated the Coco ultimate, and we still got off less damage though. So even though we survived the entire fight with no one dying, we got off 70.1 and our best was 72.4. So clearly Star Shard spell is not as good as evocation spell. So you should run evocation spell. Apart from that, like, so the thing with Crescent spell, it does increase the defense penetration, would help OD. It increases basically with magic damage dealers, which OD is. So let's try one time with Crescent spell, because Crescent spell is a spell you use in mainly battle drills right now, or even AFK stages when you have a magic damage dealing team, and OD is the biggest magic damage dealing. So let's try it out with this, but if this doesn't do as well as evocation, we'll see the survivability. But if this doesn't do as well, then I just think you should just be running evocation with this team. And then we're going to try some different team compositions which that we can use. And yeah, like Shakir, my Shakir is going to be like the prime example of a Shakir. We're going to replace Rainier Mythic Plus with the Shakir, because you're probably going to have Shakir at Mythic Plus before you have Rainier at Mythic Plus, especially if you are keeping Shakir on your wish list. Okay, so yeah, that was already a death. Still, we've made it to 62%. Like, how much longer did we survive? Not long enough. Yeah, so again, you could maybe test the RNG and keep experimenting here and try to survive that, but honestly, I don't think the Crescent spell is the best option here. I do think evocation spell seemed very convincing. Even with an early wipe, you got 72.4% damage. And Quick Blade spell, like, it is a good spell option, but the problem is it's for physical damage dealers, and OD is a magic damage dealer, so it's not as effective. So I think evocation spell is probably the best. Now let's swap out the lineup and go for like this. So this team right here, I wonder, We're gonna probably want to soul pact the OD, because OD, the boss, he's gonna attack whoever is the most backline hero. And I want to make sure that that's OD, and I want him to be soul pacted so Thorin can protect him. If you're going to be running this team, you should probably level up the Shakir to the higher level rather than maybe the Smokey or the Coco. But another thing you have to be careful of, even though the boss targets a backline enemy or ally, he will sometimes attack and deal massive damage to your frontline heroes as well. So that's why I leveled up Coco, although Coco doesn't really have any survivability issues. Yeah, so here Odie will be tanking all of it, but I think he should be able to tank throughout the entire fight. And the reason Shakir is especially good in this boss is because the boss will be jumping towards your team, like right there, and then Shakir's aura will then be able to be activated on your team. So it's not like he's off on his own right up by the boss and your team is left behind. Because the boss jumps on them, you can take advantage of that. Okay, he's jumping to the back. Odie has had no trouble surviving so far, and as you can see, yeah, definitely with good RNG, and if we survive the entire fight, it's possible that we could even get that 70% with this, with no Rainier at Mythic Plus. Yeah, Odie survived. That was really good. Yeah, so I would recommend this team if you don't have Rainier at Mythic Plus. Obviously, the damage is quite a bit lower, running the multiple damage dealers, or like Shakir. But Shakir contributed a lot of damage, so now I'm interested, and now we want to try Merrily. Merrily like this. Again, we're going to have OD probably in this position, because what I want to happen is I want OD to be the backmost hero, so the boss will always be targeting the OD. I don't want there to be a risk that the boss will attack the Merrily, because you want your soul-pacted hero to be taking the damage so that they don't get burst. But the problem with this positioning is OD takes a while, like it goes for the second aura of Smokey before OD gets the attack buff. Okay, so I want to see the damage chart at the end of this as well. But yeah, this testing is hopefully going to be useful for you. We would also have to level up the Merrily to 320 because she's at 310, Odie's at 320, so it's not a perfectly fair test. But I think this is another option for you. Like, you can run double damage dealers and just have your soul-pacted ally right at the back to make sure that the boss keeps attacking that hero. So if you have Thorin at Mythic Plus, you can try running this team. If you don't have Thorin at Mythic Plus, maybe then I wouldn't be running him. I'd probably run Shakir over. Well, Thorin still increases the damage your team deals by 17%. Okay, Odie survived. This is awesome. This is even better than the Shakir, or almost exactly the same as the Shakir lineup. Shakir did 66% and a bit. This is 64.5%. So this is not quite as good, but keep in mind, we could level up Merrily to 320, and then maybe this would be out damaging the Shakir team. And if you're having more survivability issues, I think really you need the Thorin, as you can tell here, because I'm going to just try one final thing, but this is going to show you that how necessary Thorin is going to be for the team. Because if we don't have the Soul Pact on OD, now you're going to watch and see the damage the boss deals, and when he summons those Shadow Wolves, they are going to kill the OD. I am almost entirely sure about that. So maybe not the first round of them, but probably the next round. But we'll see. Corrin is a good option, Merrily a good option. So as you can tell, you can run Corrin, you can run Merrily. Okay, Merrily died right there. And this is why it's so important to keep your hero all the way in the backline. That's why we needed to put Odie all the way in the backline last fight. In order to... so this is not going to be a good test because the boss gains defensiveness after he kills one of your teammates. But yeah, without the Soul Pact of Thorin, this team is a lot less effective. So I think really Thorin at Mythic Plus is kind of a must-have for this team. Otherwise, you can experiment with these other heroes, but you would have to go for more of like a surviving comp. And I don't know what that would really entail. Like maybe then have... I don't know, like who could just be in the back line and tanking out the boss? It's really difficult. If you look at the recommended tab, some people recommend Lucius, and he's actually not terrible because his seasonal skill will give a a damage boost after 40 seconds of the match, and after 10 seconds you will gain a haste boost. So haste and damage, that's a great supportive feature. He also has shielding, but I don't think he's the best option. Definitely, like, the team that we showed is going to be the best that you can aim for.
Everyone.
And if you don't have Rainier, I would probably just run Secure. But Rainier at Mythic Plus is going to be the best option for this team. And if you don't have Rainier at Mythic Plus, then you can use either Merrily, Corrin if they're at Mythic Plus, or Shakira if he's at Mythic Plus, or even Cisia if no one is ascended enough. But that should hopefully be a good sort of guideline for this boss. The Thor in Mythic Plus is really crucial for here. The other three heroes, Smokey, Coco, and Odie, can do well even not that ascended. And Rainier at Mythic Plus if you want to use him. Corrin or Merrily or Shakir at Mythic Plus if you want to use them. Or Cisia if you don't have any of the above at Mythic Plus. But hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Hopefully this will allow you to increase the damage you deal to this boss. This is a very difficult boss, and each time you break into the next difficulty level, it becomes insane. Like, it's hard to even make it to 10% of the next difficulty because he just kills your team right at the beginning of the match. So don't get disheartened if you can't do too well in this boss. His mechanics are very different from the other bosses. Even Alpha Bear is difficult, but I think Lone Gaze is just... he's savage. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe because we upload daily AFK journey content with guides and other things to help your progress, and updates on whatever I find new or important to share within the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.